Alrighty then. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Monday, January 26th, 2026 edition ETFs, trading trends. Let's get right into it. Some crazy things happening. Boopity 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 bop. Let's get right into it. A lot of snow happened. It was the truth. You see nat gas. It is nasty there. That kind of thing. It's cold for like a week and a half. Weather not going to get above 35 degrees. So let's get into what is going on. First things first, silver. Wow. I'm not sure if we had this update in the last video. I think we did, but I got stopped out on that one day where silver was slipping. It was moved at more than 2 ATR. So I got stopped out and actually rolled over more capital into gold, a lesser volatile instrument, and with even a more of an untouchable longer term trend. People will sell their silver at some point. Right now it's super overcrowded. Gold is still an amazing chart, not once touched 200-day moving average. We'll take a look if it's in one of the charts of the day, but right here at last I checked, and I'll get to the chart live. Silver up 13% intraday. These trends are absolutely amazing looking, and that's why the CTAs are absolutely crushing it for the first 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks of the year. Mexico, new all-time highs in that one. As I'm talking about trends here, gold miners flying high. We'll take a look at all these important charts and new all-time highs for silver, emerging markets, gold miners, copper miners, ETHA, developed markets, materials, Taiwan, Germany, Canada, Mexico, new all-time highs across the board. So how bad can things be while the S&P is less than 1% away from new time highs? Probably not too bad. All right, let's get into the dashboard panel. Boopity boopity bop, and we won't try to blather on. We want to keep these shows tight, and always pay attention to the intro. Like the first 5 minutes of when I do SPY, that's super macro. Top bottom, and then you can go sift through and go for what relevant tickers you have. But the intra-market analysis is pretty important. So of course, watch the whole video and then subscribe. But there's a lot of importance in here. Okay, we'll get to it. I can't even type fast enough. Silver's up 13% when I put together the report. Now it's up 14.5 in one day. That's scary. That's not normal. We'll look at the chart. That is absolutely blow off top type. The video was called Commodities Breakout is finally here, but that's absolutely insane. Tesla, they're selling down 2.5%. Gold up 2.5%. Looks great. That's also all-time highs. Just by the way, year to date, silver's up 61% in nearly 4 weeks. Gold, 18%. So these are absolutely monster numbers. Micron down 2%, up 36 on the year. And when I talk about year, yes, it's 4 weeks. Apple up 2.5%, down 6 on the year. Microsoft up 1.5%, but it's been a dog, down 2 on the year. Meta up 2 on the year. So it was flat going into today. AMD down 2.5, up 18%, like a gold. Intel. We didn't get Google. Yeah. Google up 2%. That's up 7 on the year. Intel down 5, but it's up 15 on the year. Broadcom up 2, down 5 on the year. Oracle up 4, down 5 on the year. All right, enough of the table tennis there. Okay, here we go. A lot of very subdued volume today in SPY. I'm looking at 26 million shares here at 1 o'clock. That's pretty low for the day. What did I have calculating something here? I had an estimate of around 55 million shares at the end of the day expected. Typically, we do around 75 million in SPY, so definitely a chunk off. But the thing is, right at 9:30, boom. If you looked at the whole tariff thing, especially there was some nasty news Friday night, Saturday going into it, and the futures looked kind of ugly. And then boom, you see what happens here at the open. They gobble it up here from 690 half all the way, and we just peaked at noon at nearly 694. VWAP is 692 half. Things looking good. Finally, we're getting some selling for the first time since that peak. As I zoom out, more importantly, here is the 1-year SPY chart again. So in terms of just cycles work here, I'm still seeing us in a bit of the sell the rip mode up until honestly like another 3 days. I'm looking at the setup now. I know we have a Powell testimony, and then you have massive earnings from the Titans this week. The 4 horsemen, as you remember. But you got a lot of the importance this week: Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, Microsoft. I'm looking at you, and it's an interesting setup. So as I said, I think we're going to straddle. Let me get here. This 687, 688 level, right here where my cursor is, and essentially that coincides with the NASDAQ highs from Halloween week. And that is where the index is as well, right here, just holding up around that 21-day exponential moving average. If things get ugly, like I said, I'm only seeing about 4 more days tops of bearish distribution pattern. Your low would be that 675 mark. I don't think it's going to get there. Like I said, it held right there at the 20th. 6 days ago. I love to see that formation of higher lows here. Things look absolutely great. Rising to a moving average above 50 RSI. The winds to your back. Again, I'm talking about the cycles work when I talk about that. We're going to sell the rip to buy the dip environment. I think we're going to get there towards the end of this week, and then I am foreseeing about a 702 print, 700 to 705. But my numbers is at 702. And I foresee that right around the next long weekend, right around that Valentine's President's Day is when we have off from the market being closed. Right around there is when I foresee new all-time highs. Of course, can it happen sooner this week with the catalyst of Apple, Amazon, Meta reporting? Yeah, sure. It's possible, but we just had a lot of exuberance just coming off, so that's where I'm putting it in terms of cycles work. Let's go to look at some monster moves now that I know everyone is talking about and looking at. And it's hard to do TA, technical analysis, on this stuff, but here we go. First, number one, silver. We're looking at multiple standard deviations movers, and they're all-time highs, okay? So the momentum is with these folks. This is just insane. And because of vol expansion, we're just barely, not barely, but you're definitely outside the upper Bollinger Band. The top Bollinger Band stops at 98. We're at 105 here with this $12 or 13% rip. We are overbought. This is just like where we were entering that October. We have a user question. What's up, Gaston? Can you see Amazon later for a long 3 to 4 weeks? I will. I'll talk about the setup going into it. Thank you for that ticker. Do understand, earnings, I believe, are this week for that group. So I'll try to put some levels in terms of, if they surprise to the upside and downside in terms of cost and what they're going through and what they're saving with AI. Again, silver, so gold really fast here, untouchable trend all year long. It doesn't even touch the 200-day moving average. Silver had a bit of a purgatory here, and you could have said guilty, until proven innocent until this breakout of being overbought in June. So this was a much more, you could have got into this at $30 SLV back in June. But a lot of people now are saying, now what? Now what do I do? Honestly, again, I told you this before, and it worked perfectly. You can get in, and the same thing that happened for me. If you have a 2 ATR stop, then you get out. That's as simple as that. So I'll give you an updated live ATR here on silver. It's 54 cents. Get in. But if it moves back against you $1.10, that's it. That's it. You sell it. This candle here, do understand that VWAP on the day is 103. They're holding it. The high is nearly 107, and we're just barely off that. So I want to see how this trades into the next 3 hours. But it looks absolutely strong. I don't want to chase it here. If you have a buy breakout system, then you can do it and then have your $1.50 stop, which is, on this puppy, a 1%. So you can get hit before you even get up to go to the bathroom. But the next pullback, to me, obviously has a lot of momentum. I'm going to go with the area of the former breakout. This still looks like, to me, it's super crowded, but you do have an 82 RSI. So they're absolutely super duper buying first and asking questions later. They don't care it's 104. I'll go back to the example of Taylor Swift tickets. It's $1,200. I said this in my presentation last Thursday for the CMT. How much are tickets? $1,200? Yeah, I'll buy them. $1,600? Yeah, sure, I'll buy them. People don't care. So the ceiling gets raised. That's what you're seeing with silver. They don't care. They stop. They don't even question it. To be honest with you, this thing is on a runaway train as of June. So this is a trend for sure over the last year rather, but over the past 6, 7, 8 months with velocity, obviously. Okay. And Helen Keller could see that in this chart. The next, when you need a couple things to go right here for when SPY, catches to that 700, maybe into mid-February, and then maybe they do get silver back to 80. But this looks like a what's the word here? Like an arms race. Okay, this looks like a panic. Central banks and the gold piece, and then of course a lot of retail. But you don't get this move with just retail. So there's a lot of momentum as well, obviously behind silver. All that being said, the pullback can take it to 80 in the next 3 weeks on this in silver. Seems crazy, but it's up 12% today. So understand trees don't grow to the sky. They are okay paying absurd valuations for this right now, but I do think it'll come off. I'm glad. I know it sounds crazy because I would have 12% of my account on a pretty sizable capital, but I'm very happy with the gold position, obviously, and I parked more in it. But silver, I think next time it's going to come down to about $80 for SLV, and that's going to be in about 3 weeks. Going to go higher first? Yeah. but do fully understand you expect to wake up and see it up 12%. Do expect to wake up and see it down 12%. I do think there will be give back somewhat in the near-ish term future, but right now, HORSI, you know what they do. They buy first, ask questions later. Number two, Mexico, and that's why I'm glad I didn't sell upside calls on silver. That is no way to hedge your account and then get absolutely smoked picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. So that for me right now is a no touch. The breakout system worked great. Be careful if you just buy upside calls too, because you need that momentum and the velocity and the volatility to maintain itself. So you need that ATR 55 cents to expand, which is a lot. This thing's up 6% tomorrow, for example. You're not going to get the same move. Okay, Mexico, I'm glad that I'm in this. All-time highs. Look at this thing. That's exactly what we want to see. RSI expanding 70, and they're not even questioning it. This is higher than the previous peak that we got in Mexico last in the fall in September. And here we are, all-time highs. View up on the day, 77.17. They're holding it. High of day, 77.97. They're not holding it. They're down from 1% from the highs. This looks like, to me, I wouldn't chase it right here. Again, same rules for the pullback system. If you are going to get in, go for it. Understand the ATR on this is 85 cents. Get in. If it moves against you by about $1.70, $1.80, it's all volatility adjusted. So this moves in exactly the ATR I'm giving you versus silver. So silver was 55 cents on a $100 stock. This is at 85 cents on a $77 stock. This looks absolutely great. To me, the pullback will take you somewhere to about $73 or a $4 pullback over the next 3-ish weeks. So again, some things will set up, some things are not. And again, Mexico, you did not have to be in this trade all year. Falling 200 a day, 52-week low. No, I'm good. This, honestly, where Mexico started getting attractive, April, a little bit after Liberation Day, when China was being kind of renamed of not being our official, offshoring partner anymore. Mexico moved into that slot a couple of weeks after Liberation Day, and you could see it here in the chart, 55 to 77 since that occurred. Absolutely amazing move. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Should this dip to about $73 in the next 3-ish weeks, you should pounce as I did. New all-time highs for Mexico. And then number 3, again, these are all standard deviation movers. Gaston, I'll get to your Amazon at the end of the program. Gold miners up 3.5% today. They were up more at the writing of this. 4.7% to an all-time high. That's an ugly looking candle. Just look at the rejection at the top. It did hit 112.5. VWAP is 111.03. They've given back both. I want to see how this trends for the rest of the day. This is an amazing chart, better than silver because of the velocity it's had from day one here on a 1-year view. Never oversold, never a touch of the 200-day moving average. I know a lot of people poo-poo on Kramer, and Kramer said, I'm not a silver gut bug, but don't sell your gold. That is what's happening. People are not selling their gold miner stocks. Silver, had some tough times earlier this fall. I still think they'll let go of it just due to the massive move it's had, but they're not going to let go of their gold. There's a lot of distrust in the system and of the currency that's in your pocket. UUP, which is the dollar ETF, hit 52-week lows today. That's no bueno. And sorry, we'll get to crypto in a second. I told you it looks wrong. It looks unhealthy. And they hammered Ethereum this weekend. Not significantly, but don't forget, it was one of the biggest losers last week. Back to gold miners. Thing looks absolutely great. They're not letting go of this. It is a new all-time high today. Understand, when I said this before, let me zoom out. We had been saying that it is going to take out the September 2011 highs. It's a matter of time, and it finally did it in the summer. Almost never doubt the catch-up trade. It's an almost easy psychological thing to do, to participate in. When you're getting into something at all-time highs, it's blue skies ahead. No one knows what the valuation is, but it's going higher, most likely because there's no resistance, right? It's towards the sky. When you have like a kind of a sloppy cup and handle here that took years to unfold. Take a look at this. This is 2011, okay? And it basically was under until this overbought. What I just say, and markets are amazing and artistic and scientific because of the fractal nature, right? A microcosm of what this is. You want a breakout from the former area mixed with overbought behavior. That lined up exactly in September 2025. At what level? $67. Where are we at now? 110. You almost catch a 2-bagger just from that alone, and you were doing a technical analysis over a 15-year chart. That's what I'm talking about. So you can do this inside, and you can check my videos from last April. I remember talking with Straza and JC and those guys saying I'm still in the gold trade. Yeah, that's why. Okay, fractally it works. Overbought again. Absolute superstar. Again, wouldn't chase this here. This looks like it's coming down to about $97 in the next 3-ish weeks. And then they're going to gobble it up. If you have that invitation to get that $14 decline, that seems like it's going to hurt. I'm not so sure we get it because it's at an 83 RSI. They are truly buying it first and asking questions later. But if you get that invitation, take it. I don't want to sell upside calls on this either. Don't want to buy puts due to the strength. It's more of a sit and wait. I'm glad I'm in GLD the way I am. Okay, this is interesting and also lets me know that the wind is to its back. Also, with all that snow that we have outside, no losers today in a multiple standard deviation manner. None. They're gobbling up silver. They're gobbling up Mexico, and they're gobbling up gold miners, silver miners, COPX. If they're mining stuff in the ground, due to your dollar being worth less, and people will know what an ounce of gold buys, that's where the trust is in the system right now. Okay, unfortunately, but that's how the PA, the personal account for everyone, is looking. Top 3 gainers of the past 5 days. My gosh, did I say it is freezing outside and it's not going anywhere soon? Very, very unfortunately. I don't think there's actually a 35-degree day for the New York area in 9 days. So obviously that's going to be more demand on heat. And look at this. You have almost the exact same candle, but we'll see because it's a long day. And we got 2.5 hours left. That is a rip roaring. I think that's a dragonfly doji here. The VWAP on the day is 1477. We're holding that by 21 cents. The high of the day is 1518. We shed that a little bit, but we're getting within 1% here. It is up 7% today. Everyone's using heat, obviously. We are not overbought. This piece of junk has not been overbought, basically going back, what is this, last Valentine's Day? Yeah, basically. The high, we peaked in March at $24. Boy, oh boy. So we charted this correctly. If you made money on this, congratulations. I hope you did. This still does, believe it or not, have a couple of more, like 5 more days. I would say this bullishness lasts through the week. Still for nat gas, for UNG. It's getting a little heady though. Boy, oh boy. I really want to see how this closes. Here's the thing. So in terms of time, I still think this has about like 5 days left of bullishness. In terms of the ceiling, though, it's interesting how it reversed and went right over that important 1430 200-day moving average, and it went right above and said, thank you very much. Reminds me of Iverson over Teron Lou in the finals, walked right over him. And I want to see with how much gusto does it hold above 1477. It's possible. I don't want to go on a leap on this, but due to the extreme temperatures that's affecting, I think, almost 1/3 of the United States. It was the biggest storm we had here in many, many years. Got about 10 inches here in Jersey. It's possible. I don't want to say probable, but it's possible this gets to a 16 handle. If it gets to 16, I would really empty the boats here. You made your money. Do understand this thing was $10 all-time low 2 weeks ago. So this is positioning. That's why we look at standard deviation movers. You got to mark that. I used the example before of like when a 9-foot person walks in the room, you're probably not going to get an 11-foot person next, right? So you want to mark that. That's probably the most for the market it's going to give you. We'll see. I don't think this is I don't think that gas is getting the look that other energy, the commodities are getting, like copper and the things that you drop on your foot. That's the stuff you want to be long. Yeah, like I said, so a little bit longer. The cycles, I don't want to drag this on too long. The cycles work. That lets me think that we have 5 more days left, and it's holding VWAP and an amazing candle like this. And don't forget what I said before, a breakout from the former area mixed with overbought. If you go for something crazy like 17, then it will go to 20. It will go to 24. So if you have a position, I understand. Hopefully make money, feed the ducks, as they say. If you're in options and it doubled, take off half, so you're playing with half money. But I want to see how this closes. I think this still has a bullish week. Maybe it zigs and zags. This 1429 level is important for net gas, but then again, so is the 10 inches outside, and I can't see the curve. Okay, next, I'm not going to repeat the in-depth technical analysis, but number 1 gainer of the week is that nat gas chart. It's up 43%. He said 43%. Or 8% a day on average. And today it's doing just that. Lets me know the trend's probably not over. Take a look at that and see where it closes at 4 o'clock. I think it's going to probably be where it is here. Holding VWAP and holding that 1429 200 day. Next, not going to go in depth on this, but next is silver, up 28% over the past 5 days, an average of 5.5% a day. Today, 2x that lets me know that that trend likely isn't over. Maybe this thing charges to 110 before it goes back down. So let's not spend a ton of time on that. And the next one, Brazil, all-time highs. What do you know? This was a dog, and I will pull up the chart here. This was 2024's biggest loser. Okay, look at this from the peak here. 2021 is when it peaked before. Brazil back at $42. Of course, this was crazy in 2008 as well. I'm just doing this on a 5-year view. And then look at this thing, an absolute dog in December 24. This thing hit $22, oversold where it was for a while. That was politically driven. And now here we are to nearly, there's actually a mistake from my data provider. It said all-time highs for EWZ. That is not the truth, because we have previous highs from 22 in $39. And then if you actually do go through a max chart, yeah, that's right. So I will correct that. EWZ had all-time highs of 100 back in May 08. So apologies. In the title, I had new all-time highs. It's a new 52-week high for EWZ. Looks good. Look at this candle a little bit different, dude, right? So this is flat on the day. Brazil has been up 2% a day to new 52-week highs. VWAP is 36.72. It's not there. It is 77 RSI, overbought. So things look decent for that regard. LATAM is very hot, of course, due to their ownership and all the findings that they have there of copper, iron, ore, zinc. It's what we're talking about. Stuff you drop in your toe, you find in LATAM. Hence why you see people rolling into the ILF. ILF's in a 15-year breakout. Go look at the charts, as I do. This looks like it's going to head back down to, I don't think you're going to be that lucky to get 33.5. I don't think that's going to happen. Probably air from the former breakout inside a little, somewhere to that 34 to 34 quarter in the next 3 weeks. And don't forget, like I said, this LATAM is where you find a lot of those metals. So they are going to gobble it up. And again, this chart was going sideways, still swaying. I will give it the benefit of the doubt that this started deserving a look in mid-May, right around Cinco de Mayo, although that's, more Mexique. But that's been raging too. But right here, much easier trade. Obviously could have gotten in May, and then right here, once the 200-day moving average started stabilizing, and then look at that, what I've been saying. Former area plus overbought, just easy. Helen Keller trade. Okay, no offense, but whatever. I don't think she's going to take offense. She's not going to hear it or see it. Right here, 30 was the breakout, and boom, we got to the 36 in a Geo ETF. It's not South Korea. That's 20% in a couple of months. This is a Micron. That's a Brazil ETF, for goodness sakes. Top 3 losers the past 5 days. Number 1, down 12%. Ugh. In the past 5 days, Ethereum, looking at you, she ugly. Down 1% today. It's trying to find a floor here at 21.5. I've been talking about crypto and how it's too software correlated for me. They're bidding the crap out of the metals and not so this. The good news is, I want to take a breath. The good news, number 1. Number 2 is I think this bearishness ends towards the end of this week. I said this is going to have a 21 handle on it. It had 21.82 on Friday. Today, 21.71. So we were right on that. I think it might actually clear 21 even, and that's when you'll know. This thing's down about 2% a day today, inside of that trend, barely. I guess technically higher lows, and you hopefully sticks the landing. As I said, though, the sellers are in control of crypto right now. So I'm not, don't become a hope trader. That's silly, and you should prepare to go broke. 21 is likely the floor on this, but I'm talking closer to like 21 quarter for Ethereum. So you have like another 70, 80 cents of downside. So 3-4% more for Ethereum this week, I believe. And then this is even the worst news in my opinion. So this is a little bit complicated real fast. The 200-day moving average is rising. I believe in those assets. You got to give a dog a bone when it has a trajectory like this. The bad news is this next bounce over the next 2 to 3 weeks for Ethereum is very likely going to get you to about 23.5. This 200-day moving average is starting to become far too heavy, this 24.5. So there's mixed signals of the heaviness of that 200-day moving average, but also your 21-day is right there at 23.30. And I don't think they're going to bid it up far above that. Okay. For more of an inside, look at IBIT right after. These are things that are getting hammered. Okay. Bitcoin's down 9% over the past 5 days, or an average of just inside 2%. There it is again. So this is a little bit different chart. The 200-day is barely moving up. If you actually get really myopic here, it's going up by 3 cents a day. That should probably stay flat very soon. But for IBIT, pull this up on a different time frame here. Oh boy, IBIT should also stop this week. I would say the bearishness stops probably towards the end of the week at around 48 even. So I think this has about another $2 to go, or 4% also for Bitcoin. So apologies, I'm long. My 25-year account, IBIT. Not so fun. Like I said, I don't know when this is going to change. And in terms of where I see, like I said, end of the week, I see this piercing 48 even, and that should be your setup for a short-term buy. The bad news is this probably going to kick it to 52, and that's going to be it. So the rallies are getting more and more pathetic inside of crypto, unfortunately. And if that is the case, where this gets to 52 only, and then starts another downtrend, that is going to be starting to go down the 200-day moving average, and the algos are not going to feel that love, and you'll see more sales than buys. I don't like that. The days above 50 RSI, you can count on a handful, on 2 hands, basically, not maybe one, 2 hands, unless you're a freak, and I guess you have 7 fingers on each hand. But I don't like that. 2026 has been absolutely pathetic, and it can't get above 55 half. For crypto. I'm telling you, this next rally is probably going to get to 52, and then they're going to sell it again. And an amazing ceiling of $59, equivalent to that 104K in crypto. Don't know when you get there. Set an alert, and then you get the FOMO in, then you buy it. But right here, looks weak. Any trades? Ugh. You could probably sell these 53 calls. I don't think you're going to get paid, though. You could sell them. I don't think you're going to get paid. You can go out 3 weeks. You can go out a month. You're not going to get paid. You can sell call spreads on it. And then the next one, of course, we started this year with the whole Venezuela issue, and let's buy Greenland, let's buy white land, whatever you name it, I guess, is our policy. But aerospace and defense, they shed this off. This is the 3rd biggest loser over the past week. So you have Ethereum and IBIT. And I didn't do that on purpose. That was with the market showing me on purpose, and we always trade with the market in front of us. They're hammering that. ITA, this one is down 4% over the past week. We told you, I don't know what is going to take their foot off the gas here. The peak came on January 16th. Looking at cycles, about February 1st. This one is starting to cruise towards its 21-day exponential moving average. This was all the rage, not one touch of the 200-day moving average since April 22nd. And look at that, even from an overbought characteristic registration, 79 RSI, it is starting to go lower, starting to get some air, and it's getting very close. I think this does have a date with $231 or $3 away in the next 2-ish weeks. And yes, that'll be an invitation to get long if you don't have aerospace and defense. I like Shield better, SHLD. It looks like that's going to be setting up too in the next week. Okay, top 3 trades of the past 5 days. If you've been long nat gas because it's frigid out, and some people say, "Oh, what's your edge? What's your edge?" You could have looked at the weather. You could have seen that's freezing in very large metropolises in the United States. But executing the trade, that was your edge. There's a lot of wisdom in scared money don't make money. You could have seen that report and done zilch, and then that's how that works. Long silver, number 2. Long metals, I'm glad I am. The second best trade on the board, second after that gas. And third is short Ethereum, believe it or not. So it's not just a one-way market. Gaston, thank you for hanging on till the end. Hey, John, can you see Amazon later for a long, about 3.5 weeks? Let's pull it up. Amazon, I've heard of them. I don't think they're sending packages to me today, although tomorrow. I think I've seen a lot of big, good plows and whatnot. So this is great. Thank you for bringing this to me. It looks like, double check, I'm seeing the report on Thursday. I'm not positive from that, considering I had my data provider second guess me on the other thing. But right here, so I love or like. It's still in the mega cap complex. I'll downgrade my love to a like, Gaston. Under 236, did you get in this today? If you can write what you did or what you're considering. I'm guessing you just want to buy shares, or if you could put the structure that you want to get in. So above 50 RSI, this looks like the shoulders emoji. If you look at this right here. Oh, can you see that? You can't because the box. Never mind. Ugh. Anyway, the RSI is doing a little bit of one of these. I love invitations. I entered some weeks ago. Awesome. Okay, well, it depends on what level. So I like entries under 236. I think that'll be rewarded. Right now, we are touching 239. I think this has a bullish 2-3 weeks, Gaston. So I think you're going to be okay with your long. I actually see an upside trajectory of between 245 and 250 for Amazon in the next 2-3 weeks. Could it get it all on Thursday? It's absolutely untouched right now, unchanged. Nobody cares about this. I just got a thumbs up. That's probably from you. I'm guessing because you like what I'm saying. But I love invitations. I love entries and position building under 236 here. If you get a little bit of a slip, some trading down here on it, I welcome purchasing this under 236. And like I said, I have a target here of 248 to 250, and that should be, about $20 from here. So I like it. And again, this is going to have big ramifications on the Qs, and of course, SPY, how close we get to that 7,000 or 700 mark in SPY. All right. Awesome. That is it. We will be back on Wednesday with a single stock edition of Trading Trends. It's going to be big. A lot of the bigs report Wednesday night. So maybe we'll do some of it, live in terms of seeing where the updates are. Okay. 30 minutes today. Peace.